Okay, for this booklet I'm going to make a hard cover like this, and then the end papers can either be glued on, or only one of them can be glued and then the other side just comes out. So what you need to start making a hard cover is either some book board or just some nice cardboard. If you're going to have your book be archival, which last for a long time and not disintegrate, you'll want to use something that's acid free. These pages are just a little bit over 2 inches, just barely. So what I am going to do, about 2 and looks like 1/8. So what I'm going to do is make my covers 2 1/4 wide. And they are 4 inches tall. So I want to make 2 of those. So I'm going to come down to 8 inches if I wanted the cover just to fit, but it's actually good practice to have it hang over a little bit. So I'm going to go 8 1/4, and so then each cover is going to be 1/8 of an inch taller. These two will be my completed little covers. And you can either try cutting it with the quilt cutter, or you can use a paper cutter or scissors. I'm going to use a paper cutter. Okay, so I have these 2 end covers made, and then I also cut a very thin strip for the spine. You can use any kind of decorative paper or book cloth for your covers. For this one I'm going to use some of the paste paper that I made in another video. And when you are using paper or cloth to cover your book, you want to measure a space around it because that is what you're going to fold over to cover the book. So you can use any means you want to cut this out. So this is how my book is going to be, and I'm just going to leave a little space in between the spine and the covers because you have to be able to fold the book. Okay, and I'm going to draw some diagonals, and I'm going to trim all of these. That way the corners look a little bit nicer. If you have all that extra paper on the corners, you're going to have some problems folding your paper nicely. Okay, when you're ready to glue, put your cover paper or book cloth face down, and then use some kind of white glue. It can be inexpensive, or it can be actually made for book binding. You want it to be smooth and creamy. You don't want real stiff glue. And then it's kind of nice just use a little chunk of cardboard to spread it uniformly out. When you're using paper, you have more options for the glue that you use. You can use PVA, just any kind of white glue, or you can use the wheat paste that you can make. PVA and white glue dry much faster than the wheat paste, so if you put your covers on and they're crooked and you leave them there, you may have trouble moving them. So try to get them lined up, try to center your spine. Okay, and then you fold that over. When you're using book cloth, you pretty much need to use wheat paste, because if any of this glue gets on your cloth, it leaves kind of a shiny little smudge. If your glue starts drying before you get all these flaps closed, covered, you can, add a little bit. And you want to pull this up also firmly, because you don't want a big fold of paper underneath. And that is the outside. And after this dries, you can fold it and then glue your pages in. While we're waiting, though, I just want to show you, if you glue the end papers in, like so, it covers up all of that cardboard. If you're going to have one side of your interior, your pages, not glued in, you really want to put another little piece of paper here to make it complete. And it really should go over to here, because your spine is also going to be exposed. So we'll go ahead and do that this way for this one. Push the paper down into those valleys, because otherwise the binding will be a little bit stiff. Try to make sure that all the air bubbles are out. Okay, and then your book cover can dry.